A U.S. immigration agent shot and killed a 37-year-old woman in her car in Minneapolis. Now, this marks the latest violent incident during President Donald Trump's nationwide crackdown on migrants. It comes during a major immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis, which is located in the Midwestern state of Minnesota. More than 2,000 agents were deployed following allegations of wide-scale welfare fraud involving Somali immigrants, whom Trump has called garbage. The administration confirmed the shooting, saying the woman was a writer who was in her vehicle that attempted to run over law enforcement officers. In a post on X, spokesperson of the Department of Homeland Security said an ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. DHS Chief Kristi Noem called the incident domestic terrorism and said the woman had been stalking and impeding ICE's work throughout the day and then proceeded to weaponizing her weapon.
These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well.
U.S. President Donald Trump also reacted, calling the woman a professional agitator. However, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey denied the government's allegations and called on ICE officers conducting a second day of mass raids to leave Minneapolis.
This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called the federal government's response to the incident a propaganda and vowed his state would ensure there is a full, fair and expeditious investigation.
Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident. But we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other.
A widely shared video of the incident shows a Honda SUV apparently blocking unmarked law enforcement vehicles as they attempted to drive down a snow-covered street. The driver, named by local media as Renee Nicole Good, attempted to drive off as officers approached and tried to open her door, with one agent firing 3 times with a handgun as the vehicle pulled away. Another video filmed after the shooting showed paramedics giving CPR to the woman. Now, the shooting drew protesters onto the streets near the scene. They yelled, "You will be held accountable," as some of them were met by heavy armed federal agents wearing gas masks who fired chemical irritants at the demonstrators. And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Terani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
Federal authorities are investigating a fatal shooting involving an ICE agent during an immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis, where officers were conducting arrests tied to alleged immigration violations and fraud cases, including long-running Somali-linked social service fraud investigations. The woman who was killed was inside a car when the shooting occurred, with federal authorities claiming the agents fired in self-defense, an account that is now under review. ICE says its presence in Minnesota was part of a broader enforcement effort focused on fraud, document violations, and individuals with outstanding warrants, while local authorities and leaders say that they have concerns about the scale and impact of these operations. Protests followed the incident as state and federal investigators work to determine what really happened. Susan Terani reporting from New York for WION World is One.